Hi there everybody, Ardir here. I want to talk about what are gonna be the best classes in Rise of Shadows, or at least what my prediction is for the best classes. So, bold predictions, let's go. Tier 1, I think Rogue is going to be the best class in the game, followed by Warrior, followed by Shaman. I chose those classes because Rogue is already really good, it barely loses cards, and like the cards it gets are arguably close and maybe even in some cases better than the cards that it loses. The most impactful loss being Faldorai, and it gets replaced kind of pretty easily by Chef Nomi. Other than that, the cards you lose are just not as strong as Vendetta, for example, which is going to be an amazing rogue card, in my opinion. And before it's going to be like garbage and like this clip is going to be all over the rogue Reddits. Anyways, I think rogue is going to be the nuts and the class to beat in Rise of Shadows. Warrior seems to also be really good just because of how powerful Dr. Boom is, the Death Knight. I mean, it's the hero, it's technically not the Death Knight, but he's probably the strongest out of him, Hagata, and Zul'jin, and I think that is going to carry Warrior in a very strong way. You can play with mechs. Okay, you can play with bombs or without bombs. You're definitely going to still play with the mechs. I think Shaman is like the third best, because not only it has Hagata, it also got some good legendaries. It still keeps Shadow Rock. It can play both control and aggro. It just got too many tools to not work. I mean, maybe it's not gonna work instantly, but I feel like Shaman right now is similar to how it was like 2 years ago. When it got a lot of tools, then it saw some play, but not a lot. And then it got some more tools and it was only Shaman everywhere. So I think it's gonna be like very close to that. Now it's not really approaching that level where it's gonna only be Shaman, but I feel they have a lot of tools and they can do a lot of things. I think Blizzard is giving Shaman really good cards, usually because they have a pretty bad classic and basic set. But yeah, I think it's gonna be like a very good class. The fourth best, I think, would be Mage. Tempo Mage is super sick and you can build in a lot of ways. And I think it's going to be a pretty successful deck in the meta, considering also that Rogue is going to be, in my opinion, the best. I think Paladin follows after the Mage. Maybe even Paladin would be the fourth class, but definitely tier 2, probably top of tier 2. I feel Paladin, you can build it aggro and play secrets, the secret Paladin deck, basically, with the 2 mana 3/4, then you play the 3 mana 5x, which X is like copy a minion health. That's pretty strong. All you need to do with that deck is probably play Subject 9 and play some late game cards like Tyrion and find the proper curve with which you just don't run out of cards to play. I think the next class is either going to be Warlock or it's going to be Hunter. I want to put Druid and Priest guaranteed in tier 3, so in the worst, in the bottom 3 classes in the game. I just feel like Druid doesn't really get much, and you can build some beast Druids, but they look pretty sketchy, and I think it's going to be like very weak deck to sap in general. And Priest, I don't know how Priest wants to play. I feel like Priest is always the class that is reactive and you cannot predict it as a frontliner. Like, other than the metagame where we had Raza Priest, and when Divine Spirit Inner Fire Priest was at its peak, I don't think Priest was the frontliner. It was always like coming later in the metagame to counter a specific meta that forms. I think it's gonna be the same this time. So the only thing I need to do now is differentiate Warlock, Hunter, put one in tier 2, put one in tier 3 so that we have like 3 separated tier lists. I'll say Warlock above Hunter. I feel Rafam is really good and you can play pretty much Q block, only removal Warlock, and then just put Rafam into the deck and just be successful with it. Hunter, I don't know why I'm putting it in the last 3 classes. It's probably the best of the remaining 3, but I feel like Zul'jin alone is not going to be enough to carry the deck. You can do some spell power shenanigans, but I think the power level is not going to be there. So yeah, that's pretty much it with my predictions. Let's see how I fare. I'm really curious how wrong I was, because we are always wrong with these predictions. It's very hard to like predict the metagame perfectly, and it's pretty much a guessing game even when you know all the cards and you have like so many years of experience in the game. after I get to play with the cards, I'll have like a way more accurate prediction. I'm pretty good at feeling the metagame after I play with it. But before I play with it, it's just guessing game. But it's a fun guessing game, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye and enjoy Rise of Shadows.